This is Game Night with Josh Hennig.
It's good!
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
And he scored!
Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Josh Hennig.
Josh Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. If you have been listening to 97.3 throughout the day, or if you are someone who has been following me on social media at Josh Hennig on the Twitter X platform. Also, we are always streaming live on my YouTube channel as well, along with 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. For some of you, I would say for many of you, this show is going to come as a bit of a surprise to you, but this is, as Mike Gill mentioned on the Sports Bash, the final game night here on 97.3 ESPN. I might get too heavy into it because we got a lot of stuff to get into this hour. Phillies start their 3-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays. Are the Eagles going to be better this year defensively than they were last year? Andy McNamara will join us coming up in less than 20 minutes from now to get into that and more here on 97.3 ESPN. And I welcome everyone to text in at 609-403-0973 because I want to hear from you guys today. Today is going to be an interesting conversation because, as I said, this is the last game night here on 97.3 ESPN. So if you guys can just hear me out for about, a minute and two, we'll get to the Eagles stuff because I got a lot of Eagles and Phillies thoughts to get to. For 5 years now, I have been given the opportunity to ride solo for an hour a day. Originally, it was before Mike Gill as part of the warm-up. I was doing that basically during COVID, during the COVID lockdowns. And then as we were emerging from COVID, Mike Gill and I sat down and we had me move from 1 to 2 to 6 to 7. So since March of 2020, I have been on the radio in a solo capacity every hour, Monday to Friday here on 97.3 ESPN, along with my duties as producer for the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, along with writing my articles for the Town Square Media websites. The blessing and the curse of this job is that, I would say that 90% of what I do, many of you never hear or see. And it's because of that dynamic that Mike Gill and I had another conversation 5 years into this current chapter, and we are now going to change chapters. We are now going to turn the table over to a new venture. Starting next Saturday, June 21st, we will be launching Hanging with Hennig every Saturday from 12 to 3 here on 97.3 ESPN. I'll be following Billy Schweim in the locker room every Saturday, something I had previously done from 2016 to 2021. That was my first full on-air shift here at 97.3 ESPN. But now that we are not just 97.3, but myself, I am now 20 years invested in the media here in South Jersey. It's time for me to take the next step. And part of that next step is the new show, Hanging with Hennig, starting at 12 o'clock every Saturday. Of course, it'll be on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, but it'll also be a streaming show as well on all my social media platforms, YouTube, X, Instagram. And this is going to be a great opportunity for me to do two things that are very important to me. One is talk sports, because I love sports. I'm passionate about it. But the other side of it is I get to do something that's really exciting. I'm going to have the opportunity to highlight local and small businesses. There's a lot of great people in this area that I've gotten to know over the years. And in my current capacity on 97.3 ESPN Monday through Friday, I have to spend a lot of time in the studio. I got to spend a lot of time working. And now this is an opportunity for me to get out and highlight some great people in South Jersey. We got the Make the World Better Foundation, Connor Barwin pickleball tournament coming up on June 28th. We'll be out for that. I will be announcing different partnerships with different businesses that will be sponsoring and partnering with me on the Saturday show. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity to share those businesses with you guys, have the opportunity to highlight those great people here in South Jersey. And I'm looking forward to just doing more in terms of do more of what gets me excited, what gets me up and going in the morning. You know, some of my favorite articles I've ever written for 97.3 and Town Square Media have been about people and businesses in South Jersey. And now I get to apply more of my craft into basically building another layer of media presence here in South Jersey. So I appreciate everyone who's been listening for the last 5 years, the game night. I appreciate everyone who has been a part of the show. And let's get to the sports, because we can end the hour with all the thank yous. But I got a lot of people to thank. I made a list. I've checked it twice. And I'm still probably going to forget somebody. But Andy McNamara is going to join us coming up in about 12 minutes from now. And part of the reason why I want Andy to come on is not just because he has been Andy is by far the most popular guest I've ever had on 97.3 ESPN. So this is a bit of a treat for me, as it is for the rest of you guys out there. But the Eagles are in a very unique situation. Unlike the Phillies, unlike the Sixers and the Flyers, they are coming off of a championship. They are in a specific situation where they are the standard in the NFL. You win 2 championships in the course of 7 to 8 years. You are in a very elite category in terms of the NFL. You look at what the NFL has been since the Eagles won the Super Bowl during the 2017-2018 NFL season. The only other team that has won multiple championships in that stretch of time is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Eagles have been the 3. They've won 2. And unlike the Phillies, who have been the 1 and can't get back, unlike the Sixers who can't get out of the second round, and unlike the Flyers going through a rebuild now with a completely different general manager and head coach than they had when the quote-unquote rebuild was supposed to have commenced 6-7 years ago, the Eagles have a chance to do something special this year. Now, a lot of people have assumed no Darius Slay, no C.J. Gardner-Johnson, no Josh Sweat, no Oren Burks, no Milton Williams. A lot of guys who are no longer on this team defensively. And the assumption has been for a very long time, well, you know, they'll take a step back. It'll be on the offense to carry them. But Zach Baun was a guest on the Exciting Mike's podcast, and he suggested in his best Lee Corso impersonation, not so fast, my friends. Take a listen.
And I think we have a lot to do as a defense, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, to think that was all of our first year in that scheme.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, what are we going to do next year? Like,
I know.
Already, I feel like we're miles ahead of where we were last year at this time.
No, we're miles ahead, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
We're having these high-level conversations in OTAs. You know, we haven't really been thrown in the fire.
We're not even like planning for who we're like our offense, like who.
So
we're
a lot of
with.
what ifs.
Yeah.
That could help us,
which
in
is
the future.
good.
The idea that this group of players are now entering their second year in Vic Fangio's offense, the idea that instead of them having to learn a defense, they are now can expand, grow that defense. Remember, this was a defense that the first 4 weeks, they were kind of like, they were up and down, right? Packers game, a rough start to the game, strong finish to the game. Falcons, strong start to the game, bad finish to the game. Saints, great game. Bucks, guys were injured, fell apart in the heat. Then they go to the bye week. Then Cooper DeJean comes back from injury, and they go on that run. where they were statistically one of the best defenses in every single category from NFL Week 6 to the end of the year. So the idea that Zach Baun is suggesting, by the way, Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean agree with him, that there's a strong possibility that this defense, they are miles ahead of where they were last year since Zach Baun. And now Zach Baun is coming off a great season. Cooper DeJean, a great season. Reed Blankenship, Super Bowl champion. Jalen Carter, Super Bowl and college national champion, as well as Nolan Smith, as well as Jordan Davis. These guys are starting to build resumes, accolades. Their confidence is going up. If they can just stay grounded, if they can just stay humble, if they can just stay the course, can you imagine what this year might be like? We have talked so much about the offense with the assumption the offense is going to pick up where the defense left off last year. It very may well be that Vic Fangio, that mad genius, he may have something in store for us that we're not expecting. You know, Fangio made the comment that, you know, they ran a certain style of defense last year because he basically inferred that they had to because of their personnel. What if the reality is that going into this year, they don't have to do things the way they did last year? Let me remind you, we'll bring it back here. Josh Hennig in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank Seattle, and live on my YouTube channel at Josh Hennig. Fangio explained how what they ran last year was because of the personnel that they had. Take a listen to this and think about what you just heard Baun, Coop, and Blankenship say. Now merge it with what Fangio says here.
Well, in last year's case, we evolved to that because once Cooper started to play very well, it got him on the field more. It was a much better fit for our edge guys. They could play nickel end instead of having to play 3-4 outside backer. So last year, it was a good fit for where we were personnel-wise. This year, that could change.
Oh, it's going to change. The personnel for Fangio dictates what he calls. And if that's the case, can you imagine if this defense is actually better than it was last year? Well, let's get Hennig McNamara about that and more. Coming up next, Josh Hennig, the final game night on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, coming up Saturday, June 21st, the launch of the new show, Hanging with Hennig, right here on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, it will be streaming on my YouTube channel as well as all social media platforms starting June 21st.
With GMF financing to qualified buyers excludes Traverse and Corvette excludes prior sales. Have you heard? Nobody beats a Bennett Chevy deal, and I mean nobody. All this month, Bennett Chevy is selling new Chevys at the GM supplier employee price. Plus, you keep all the rebates, saving you as much as 20% on your new Chevy. That's right, you keep all the rebates and you pay the same GM supplier employee price we pay. That's up to 20% in savings. And you can save even more with available 0% financing. Thinking about buying pre-owned? Well, again, nobody beats Bennett Chevy. Just bring us any clunker you can, and we'll give you a minimum $10,000 towards any pre-owned on our lot. Yes, I said a minimum 10 grand for your junk. Who else is going to make fantastic offers like Bennett Chevy? Nobody. That's who. Plus, you'll never experience any haggles or hassles or need to negotiate because our non-commissioned sales staff is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Together, let's drive. Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. The Philadelphia Phillies are back home tonight as they start a series with the Toronto Blue Jays. Ranger Suarez will start for Philadelphia. He is 4-1 with a 2.70 ERA. Kevin Gausman is set to start for Toronto. He is 5-4 with a 3.87 ERA. The Phillies come into tonight's matchup and the weekend series winners of 2 of the last 3 contests, and Philadelphia is currently 39-29. The Phillies are currently 5.5 games behind the New York Mets in the NL East Division standings. The other pitchers scheduled to pitch this weekend for the Phillies include Christopher Sanchez tomorrow and Zach Wheeler Sunday afternoon. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm John Thayer on 97.3 ESPN.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. We had some beautiful weather this week. Now that the weekend's here, it's time for rain, of course. Looks like wet weather rolls in late this evening. Overnight low temperature 65. And then scattered rain through tomorrow morning, trending drier in the afternoon. Just some lingering showers around. Cloudy, relatively cool, high 67. A few spot showers throughout the day Sunday, still overcast, high again 67. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
Every choice you make matters. On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
We'll check out the text board a little bit later this hour, but I do appreciate, Shaner in EHT, Glenn in Northfield, as well as James in Northfield all chiming in about the final game night here on 97.3 ESPN. Again, I want to remind people I'm not going anywhere. I wasn't fired. I wasn't pushed out. Mike Gill didn't find a loophole in the salary cap to trade me for a bag of peanuts. I'm still here. Saturday, June 21st is the start of the new show, Hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, I will still be a part of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill Monday through Friday from 2 to 6 as well here on 97.3 ESPN. But because this is the final game night, it is only appropriate that a man who has been a part of it, and I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, Andy McNamara, host of the Sick Podcast. 5 years I've been on the daily 1 hour grind with the Power Hours here on 97.3 ESPN. And Andy has been kind enough to be a part of that entire 5 years. And he's not going anywhere either. He'll still be a part of the new show, but I only thought it was Andy, you are the most popular guest on my show over the years. So it only made sense for you to be the final guest on game night on 97.3 ESPN.
Well, I'm honored, my friend, and I'm behind. Pull back the curtains. I requested to be on with you tonight because it has been a heck of a ride for game night. Looking forward to the new show. It's going to be phenomenal. But I always love coming on with you and interacting with all the great listeners and viewers all over. So we get to do it one more time in this format, and then move ahead to the next one.
Right. On to the next one, as they would say. So I played the audio earlier, and I'll play it again for you, Andy, because as you know, every player has a podcast now. Yeah. And so the latest is Zach Baun was a guest on the Exciting Mics, which is Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship's podcast. And So he made this comment, and it got me thinking, Andy, could the Eagles' defense be actually better this year than it was last year? Here's Zach Bond and the boys talking about it.
And I think we have a lot to do as a defense, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, to think that was all of our first year in that scheme.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, what are we going to do next year? Like,
I know.
Already, I feel like we're miles ahead of where we were last year at this time.
No, we're miles ahead, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
We're having these high-level conversations in OTAs. You know, we haven't really been thrown in the fire.
We're not even, like, planning for who we're, like, our offense. Like, who
So a
we're
lot of
with.
what-ifs that could help us
Which
in
is
the future.
good.
What do you think, Andy? The idea that they're miles ahead of where they were last offseason. Because remember, the Eagles defense started the year, right? Horrible first half versus the Packers. Great second half.
Right.
Great first three quarters versus the Falcons. Horrible final 2 minutes. Very good game against the Saints. Fell apart in Tampa and the Heat. Then they had the bye week. From week 6 to the end of the year. Number 2 in scoring defense. Number 1 in pass rush rate. They were number 2 or 1 in almost every defense category from week 6 to the end. And now the guys are saying, oh, we're miles ahead of where we were last offseason.
Well, it sounds silly sort of at first, but then if you think about it, it does make sense, because if you have that core together with the new additions, and we have to think of it too, guys, right? It's like the first to second year in the NFL, so different, right? And you talk to players at any position. You don't know what you don't know year one. Now they know. They've done it at the highest of levels, and now they're into that second year of the system, like they said. So, yeah, they're miles ahead, and that's scary if you think about it, because the offense is still going to be clicking, and now you get another year. They've gone through everything once, and I mean everything, because they went the whole way, right? So there's nothing they haven't seen or gone through, and so now you have all these players either in their prime or approaching it together and being able to build off of that. So, Josh, I think that's – I believe Zach Bond, it's accurate. And yet in the new guys, like my combine darling Ty Robinson, who I'm super stoked about. It seems like it's adding up.
And also, Fangio, there's the video out there of when they drafted Drew Makuba. Like, he looked like he just won the lottery. Like, he was so grinning ear to ear. So, like, and then I'm not suggesting anything necessarily, but I don't think it's a coincidence the Eagles haven't signed Justin Simmons yet. Like, they must see something in the current group of safeties that they're saying, you know what? Let's ride with what we got for right now. Like, there's got to be a reason, because guess what? After June 1st, the Brandon Graham roster hold disappeared. His salary hold disappeared. His roster hold disappeared. Remember, they saved money getting rid of Bryce Huff. So they have the money and they have the roster spot to add someone if they want to, but they haven't yet.
And it's something we've talked about on the show. And it kind of keeps creeping in as I hear more on the news and with all the insiders. Maybe it's not Simmons. Is that possible deal we've talked about before, Josh, with Cincinnati and a certain edge rusher? Perhaps something that they could be exploring and maybe don't want to tie up money in other areas. Because in Cincinnati right now, it is a tire fire with their two pass rushers, right? So it has to be saving it for some reason. And if not Simmons, then who?
Right. And I don't know who that is. I mean, look, I wrote an article at 973ESPN.com the other day basically saying, like, here's some guys who are out there. And I walk away from it saying, look, I like the idea of Justin Simmons. I do, but there's got to be a reason why he hasn't been signed yet. Look, Trey Hendrickson, he wants out of Cincinnati, right? I know that's a huge swing kind of move, but Howie Roseman, he wasn't born scared. So, it's not like, it's like the scene from, Draft Day where, they asked Sonny Weaver, are you crazy? He's like, haven't I proven already that I'm crazy? Like, Howie's already proven he's willing to take the risk, right?
Yeah, he has. He has. And so for that's just where I'm thinking. That's why the Trey Hendrickson, because he's not in camp. Mandatory. He's not. He wants out. unless the money comes in, and Cincinnati notoriously cheap and having already paid those 2 wide receivers. So something's got to give. Now, again, Bengals would have to want to play ball. I don't know what they would be asking in return. Is it unreasonable? I don't know. Quick side note, Josh, I'm telling you right now, and your listeners right now, Shamar Stewart for the Bengals, I said it before the draft. I'm saying it especially right now. That guy is going to be a complete and total bust. He's got Davey and Clowney on him. Looks great, looks phenomenal, but guess what? Doesn't produce, doesn't rise to the level that he should be. Shamar Stewart has a, that looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. Has the look, doesn't produce. I'm telling you right now, Shamar Stewart, I think, is going to be a bum, a bust, and that guy's got an ego undeserved, and he's walked out of Bengals training camp.
Yeah, that whole story to me is just bizarre. Like how
it's crazy.
Like, for example, on the flip side, you know Drew Makuba has not signed his rookie deal yet. You know where he was this week?
Yeah.
In the building, on the field, at mandatory minicamp. The man hasn't signed his deal. Yeah. And he's like, I got to be here.
Maybe health-wise, he'll live by. But, and this is what's confusing to me. The collective bargaining agreement has essentially negated any issues for these rookie contracts. They're usually just sign up and you go. Like 99% of these rookie deals that we see are just, they signed because you're not in the negotiation stage anymore, right? So that was supposed to be solved. So when these issues pop up and players don't sign or delay, there's a little bit of language, but it is a little bizarre, especially in the Stewart case, where it's like, but what are you trying to negotiate?
Yeah, I don't pretend like I understand some of these players. I think that some of these guys, like you said before, Andy, they think of themselves more highly than they ought. By the way, Andy McNamara joining us for the Power Hour here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios. You know, I have a listener, Steven Ventnor. He always texted about Trayvon Walker. He's been texting about him for about 4 months now. But for the first time, I heard someone else bring up Trayvon Walker's name. So Jeff Kerr from CBS Sports, he was on with Mike Gill earlier on the Sports Bash. Only the second person I've heard mention that name. You hear a name once, whatever. You hear it twice, now you got my attention. So Trayvon Walker, any interest, Andy McNamara?
Well, I think what we have to decide with any of these types of players is, okay, what we have to balance. What's the upside? What's the downside? Who's out for him coming in? Right? That's what we have to figure out, and that's what we have to replace. So if we're talking about for the Eagles, I almost like it just how it is, without a Walker, without a Simmons. Like I like what I heard out of Zach Bond earlier there, Josh, and it's just like, let's just have this group grow together and keep going, right? Add your sprinkles, of course. And if an opportunity comes to add, sure. But why try to upset something that might not need fixing? Sometimes you insert something and it doesn't work. And that's kind of my vibe with the Eagles. Like, you're always going to make adjustments, but it's almost, to me, when I'm looking at this team, I'm thinking, let's just let it go, man. This team, things look good as is. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, it's also the idea. Like, one of the problems we're having here in the Philadelphia area is that there's a lot of people who are indifferent about the Phillies because they don't have firepower. You know, it's like they win 90 to 95 games every year, but in the postseason they don't have the juice, right? You can never have enough juice, especially on a defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for example, you know, Von Miller had 6 sacks last year, and he played only 25% of the Bills' snaps. Okay? He's 36 years old. What's it going to cost you? A couple $1 million? Come in here, be a veteran, just be like, hey, we'll send him out there every once in a while and, you know, let him rush. You don't think Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt and those guys can learn from a 2-time Super Bowl champion, former Defensive Player of the Year, Von Miller, you know, or even Trey Hendrickson? You could bring Trey Hendrickson and be like, look, we're only going to give you 2 years, right? You know, we're going to get you for 2 years, maximize your prime, go hit free agency. We got what we needed out of you. there's
get a
nothing
title.
right. There's nothing wrong with saying let's reload for the run.
Definitely, and it comes down to is the price right for what you have to give up? And we know Howie Roseman's one of the shrewdest, cleverest front office men, maybe the most in the league. So yeah, if you can add a weapon like that, I just always come down to, okay, we always want to talk about getting the guy in or getting a player in or trading. What has to go the other way, or what has to be eliminated for that to happen? That's really what we have to decide, and what you're willing to give up for it. Because, doing shows that we've done for so long, Josh, everyone has a trade. I want this guy in. Great. I do too. However, the team that has him probably wants something back, and probably a lot.
Right.
So whether that's Walker, whether it's Hendrickson, whether it's somebody else, it's like they're going to want a lot back. Is that a first round pick? Are you willing? That's a low first round. Are you willing to do that? What else? So there's so many ifs there. But you're right. If you have a chance to add a player at the right price, and you can come in and retool, and this is the benefit of being a championship team. People want to come here. People want to come to win a title. Now, my question again goes to Hendrickson. And I don't blame a guy for trying to get his money. Okay, go get your money. Careers are short. But the Bengals are a team that you could consider at least conference finalist in the AFC contender with how they're built. So it's definitely not about winning for him. He wants to get paid, but that's a little speak in my mind.
So and this is where you gotta have to read between the lines, because Hendricks has done a lot of interviews. He's only done a couple.
Right.
But all the interviews, he's basically described it as he feels disrespected, because he has come out and said he doesn't expect to be the highest paid pass rusher. He's now looking for that money. But it's the idea that an organization that's notoriously cheap. Listen, you cover the Browns every single day of the year. In the AFC North, the hierarchy of cheap to not cheap, the Bengals are the farthest in the cheap side of the spectrum, okay?
By a mile.
Of those four teams. The Ravens, they'll spend $1 gazillion. The Bengals, they hate spending money. But they spent stupid money on not one, two receivers. They could have rationalized, let T. Higgins walk, let's give Trey Hendrickson his money. I mean, that defense was horrible last year, and he was still productive. And, Chase Daniel, who played with Hendrickson with the Saints, apparently they're very good friends. Chase has said Trey doesn't ever complain. For him to complain, they must have pushed him over the edge for him to say, I feel disrespected. And apparently, according to everything I've heard, Andy, Trey Hendrickson, great locker room guy, great family man, church guy, carries his Bible around like he's a model of citizen in the community, like he's everything you want, and you're not taking care of that guy.
And you're disrespecting. And you said it. The Bengals defense sucked last year, and he was still tremendous. So you're taking, and Josh, how often do we see it? You have a guy start missing mandatory minicamp. You have a guy start missing training camp. What happens? There's an injury. The year gets shot quick. And we'll look back and be like, Hendrickson didn't have the year he could have. It happens all the time. All the time. So for the Bengals, it is a bizarre decision to pay two wide receivers, mainly Higgins, big money. I'm going to spend money now, and not to your best pass rusher. Strange behavior.
Very, very strange. Let's get to a couple more before I let you go. Speaking of guys who are holding out, how perplexing is it that also in the AFC North, Aaron Rodgers there for minicamp, TJ Watt holding out of minicamp?
Oh boy! I love the anarchy of my AFC North foes right now with the Bengals and then with TJ Watt. First of all, Aaron Rodgers in there is so intriguing because I kind of don't see this going. I hear people, they'll be 9-8 again. Josh, I kind of see this going one of two ways: either sensational or complete destruction. I don't see 9-8. I don't see that middle ground anymore. With that, I think Rodgers either balls out or they suck and he gets hurt or he just gets full of himself again. I don't know, but that's it's certainly an upgrade off of, and I was saying it on your show for how long? Mason Rudolph. People didn't think Aaron Rodgers was going. You were going to go into the year with Mason friggin' Rudolph. No, come on, stop, the blockhead guy. So I think that's interesting. And with TJ Watt though, holding out, he's somebody though I feel that, boy, you can kind of plug and play him right now, right? He'll hold out for whatever he wants. He'll come in and he'll be ready day one. Trouble with Watt, of course, staying healthy.
Right.
Really sort of with the Watt brothers. It's kind of the Watts and the Boses. They both families, the kid, they work so hard and train so hard and go all the time. They always get hurt.
Right.
It's really weird. There's the parallels, isn't it?
Which is hilarious because we were talking about it earlier today. So there's an article in The Athletic about Phillies pitcher Zach Wheeler, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball. And the whole article is about he does not work out the entire season. He doesn't lift weights during season. He only does like mobility movements, biomechanics, stretching. He'll lift in the off season, but he won't lift from like basically spring training to the end of the baseball year because apparently he says that he used to lift in season. He used to get injured all the time. As soon as he stopped lifting in season, all of a sudden he's more pliable, he's more prepared, he's more ready. You gotta, if you get a chance, read the article. It's like one of those things, you're just reading it and you're like, hey man, some people are just built differently, So maybe the Boses can learn from Zach Wheeler. I don't know.
I'll tell you, there is no way on God's green earth that the Boses or the Watts will ever stop lifting for any reason.
Well, did you see what J.J. Watt? Did you see what J.J. Watt said at one point?
Oh no!
He made the joke that he's like, I could come out of retirement for like one game, and they're like, really, like on McAfee show, like they're really like, oh yeah, I still lift and train and run all the time, and McAfee's like, dude, like, good for you. Like they were like making fun of him. Like they were like they wanted to make fun of him, but they realized they couldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's just wired. Like he'll be one of those 85-year-old guys who's jacked and like doing marathons or whatever. Yeah, they're just built and wired differently. But what do you think of the Aaron Rodgers thing with Pittsburgh? It obviously upgrades. It depends what Aaron Rodgers you're getting at an advanced stage in a new system. And if this Pittsburgh offense has been totally lethargic since Roethlisberger retired. So if you have that and it starts slow, we know if things are good, Aaron Rodgers is fine. If things don't go good, he's a ticking time bomb. How do you think this is going to go?
Well, my mind goes to two things. One, if you go back and look at the last 4 games last year for the Jets, he actually played well.
He did.
You actually talked about right here on 97.3 ESPN. You came on when we talked about fantasy football, and you said, hey, if you're desperate for a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers is probably out there in the waiver wires.
Yep.
And I'm sure he helped somebody with their postseason run last year.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, Brett Favre also went to the Jets, and it didn't go so well, right?
Yeah, right.
And I think we all know that Aaron Rodgers' commitment to his craft is probably more than Brett Favre. So I got to think that there's a part of Rodgers that says, you know what? I'm going to outdo Brett Favre when he went to the Vikings. I think if you read that book by Ian O'Connor about Rodgers, there's a part of him that feels like he is constantly proving himself. And there's a part of Rodgers that, like, you realize that he does a lot of stuff. He does a lot of stuff. He's different, man.
Yep.
But, sometimes we forget that what makes you weird, what makes you different is what makes you great. Because, there's a lot of very, very, very rich and successful people who are weird as you know what. Like, you go through the history of the world and you realize that people who became very successful were all very not normal. So you know what? What we make fun of for Rodgers for being weird is also what makes him Aaron Rodgers the Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, it makes him hundreds of millions of dollars. So I wish I was more weird and made that right. Yeah, you're right. Hey, it works for the individual, and he gives his weird little Asiawaka, whatever the thing is he does in the caves and whatever. And I don't know what it's called. He's just have a bourbon like a normal guy, Rodgers, but that doesn't work for him. Doesn't work for him. So he does his thing, and as long as outside of that Achilles injury, I can't remember any significant injuries for Aaron Rodgers in his career. He's a pretty healthy guy, right? I don't think there was anything too significant if my memory is correct.
I mean, he's had some injuries here and there, but nothing.
He played through.
Not the level of the Achilles. Like he had that one. What was it, the shoulder collarbone injury at one point, and that was the year that was like Brett Huntley and like guys like that had to finish the year.
Right. Ooh, Huntley sucked. Yeah.
I think Scott Tolzien was on that Packers team too.
But you know what? Like when you start getting ligaments, Achilles, that's concerned.
Right.
Collarbone, it's a bone. Okay, you're not gonna have that. That's not really a concern. So that's going to be part of what is turning into a very interesting AFC North with the holdouts from Pittsburgh, the addition of Rodgers, with the holdouts in Cincinnati, with the 4 quarterbacks in Cleveland. Joe Flacco, by the way, kids, is going to win that starting job week 1. I'm going week 3 versus the Packers. So I hope Flacco's still holding around, and I don't have to see the left-handed, generously listed 5'10" Hawaiian Dylan Gabriel chucking it around the field.
I was going to finish up by asking you about the Browns. And listen, you can only read so much in the training camp and OTAs. I totally get that. But I'm getting the feeling that Shador and Flacco are developing kind of like a mentor-protege kind of relationship. You know, there's a lot of footage of them spending time together on the field, and I'm starting to wonder if Flacco's your starter, Shador's the backup, and then Pickett's the third, and then Gabriel, he gets kicked to the curb, because I'm starting to wonder if there's a lot of speculation coming out of that land by the lake, right? Yeah. You know, that Shador, maybe they should have been drafted a little earlier. I'm just saying.
Well, the thing here, so here's what my Cleveland people are telling me is the outside wants the drama of Shador Sanders, right? And in camp so far, very limited access. I think 6 practices were open to the media. Most accurate of the quarterbacks. However, he was never put versus the number 1 defense. Not for one snap to the public. Dylan Gabriel was a lot. Kenny Pickett, Flacco, not Sanders. Now, his accuracy was better than any other quarterback there. Take that for what you will. 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s. You're not even in pads. But that's what you have to go for. And we have to remember this. Even though if we think Shador Sanders looks good, this regime, front office, in my opinion, completely wrongly value Dylan Gabriel's skill set above Shador Sanders by 2 full rounds. 2, which is, again, blows my mind and makes me furious every time I think about it. You could have got the guy in the 6th or 7th round easily. Nobody else wanted Dylan Gabriel. Okay? Anyway, that's where they value Dylan Gabriel. They value Shador Sanders less right now. Now, Shador Sanders blows him away once he starts playing again. If he gets chances with the 1 pass, heck yeah, let's go. What I'm hearing is Kenny Pickett has looked the least impressive of any of the QBs in camp. Can you see the surprise on my face, Josh? There's no surprise. Kenny Pickett is the worst one. But the general manager liked him and traded for him. So you have to see what is the agenda. Is it, do I want to be proven right? Because I'm Andrew Berry, the GM. I traded with Philly for Kenny Pickett. I drafted Dylan Gabriel. Do you want to be proved right, or do you want the best guys? That's what my concern is.
He's Andy McNamara. He is the host of the Sick Podcast. He's also a phenomenal listener because he is the best picker at My Railbirds when it comes to the horse racing. That's why I call you. I mean, I know we have all kinds of titles, but I'm saying you're a great listener because obviously you absorb the information, you process it, and you spit out the picks. That's so you do a great job over there with My Railbirds and the whole team over there as well.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, and you know what? We actually put, and you know I was waiting for this, Josh. If you go to my social, guys, at AndyMC Sports on Instagram, at AndyMC81 on Twitter, on X, you'll see the crew put together with my assistants a video meme montage for my championship. We had a championship belt made for the horse pick betting. I'm going up against, by the way, seasoned horse, not football guys. I'm a football guy first. Seasoned horse race picking. I whooped them. So take a look at the videos. It's tons of fun. It's up there now on X and on Instagram. Listen, Josh, if you got to boast when you can, right? You got to add some personality to it. But it's a lot of fun. At My Railbirds is the site. We make horse racing a lot of fun and just kind of hang out and we talk with you, not at you, so it's good.
By the way, isn't like the oldest horse race in North America coming up?
King's Plate.
Yes.
Yes. It'll be the August 16 in Toronto at Woodbine. And it's started as goes Queen's Plate, King's, whoever's in charge in England, it changes the name. So when Queen Elizabeth died, changes the King's Plate now. And so, yeah, that's always a great time, great festival. We're going to be doing a ton of content with that too. So, and any of your listeners, you want to find yourself up in Toronto, I can get you 50% off tickets as well. So just saying, you want to come on up, take advantage of that weak Canadian dollar. Let's go.
Well, I was going to say, it's still the summertime, and it's probably cooler in Toronto than it is down in some of the states. So
it's, it's getting a bit warmer now. It's not bad. We're in the, I think it's, I can never do the conversion Fahrenheit. I think it's high 70s. It's 80s warm. Maybe it's 80. I don't know.
I mean, it got up to 90 Fahrenheit yesterday. It was our hottest day of the year so far.
Nice.
Now it cooled down this weekend because we got a rain system coming through.
Coming in.
But it's I turned the air conditioner on yesterday at home. It's like, all right, put it on.
There you go, man. It's because now we're getting into that little break for football right there. Really, Josh, this is the only time in the NFL season where there's a pause. There's always something else to either like look forward to or do or coming up. There's a pause for like a week or two, and then it's like training camp's coming, and then you're off till till next year.
Yeah, well, there's still a million storylines to talk about, and Andy, you will be joining me on Saturdays throughout the year. Of course, Hanging with Hennig is the new show coming up here on 97.3 ESPN. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate you always wanting to be a part of what I do, and I look forward to, now with this Saturday show, we can even do potentially more stuff together.
Nice.
So
beautiful, buddy. Well, hey, here's to another 5 years of doing this crazy stuff together. So great, just love, like I said, love interacting with the listeners, with you, my friend, being on. You turned to a great buddy, great pal, and I look forward to continuing having a lot of fun and doing more on Saturdays. Hanging with Hennig. By the way, great handle of the show. I think that's a shirt opportunity. I like it. I think we pop it on, right? We'll make hashtag it, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't wait, buddy. Good for you. Congrats.
Andy, always appreciate you. Take care, my friend.
All right, pal. See ya.
We'll check back on the text board coming up next. I see messages coming in on the text board at 609-403-0973. I see messages coming in on the YouTube stream as well at Josh Hennig. Make sure you're following me on all the social media because the new show is going to be much more present on the social media than the current Power Hour. So keep that in mind. We'll be revealing a lot coming up in the next several days. But coming up, we'll hear from more of you guys as of the Phillies. They get to the top of the first. Ranger Suarez allows 0 runs. Still nothing as they go to the bottom of the first inning. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN.
Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman.
If a person is on a date, is it proper protocol that if one person gets their food first, they have to wait for the other person?
Yes.
I tend
because
to
if
agree.
you're on a date, you're trying to make a good impression. You don't want it to be that you're selfish and you're not considerate of the other person. Because that's what you're doing if you eat before their food gets there.
Wake up weekday mornings with Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman on 97.3 ESPN.
It's the construction reduction sales event all month long at Matt Black Kia. Right now, put 0 down with 1.9% APR for 60 months on every new 2025 Kia Sportage or Sorento in stock. Plus, we want your trade, any make, any model, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. We'll even lower your current car payment or give you 2 years of free maintenance on any new Kia. That's lower payments, more peace of mind, and free maintenance at MattBlackKia.com. It's gotta be a Matt Black Kia. Call 215-703-8526 for details.
How did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you. All of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is a listening learner. So he checks with Babbel's speech recognition to be
Precio.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Okay, raise your hand if you want to make your life a little bit easier. Great. Now raise your other hand if you like to be comfortable. Perfect. Now that you have both hands raised, imagine putting on your shoes. And that, folks, right there is your answer to an easier, more comfortable life. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. This is footwear you don't need your hands to put on. They can be raised in the air, and you can just step it and go. Why don't you experience what people can't stop talking about? Life-changing Skechers Slip-ins. Get your Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Breaking news for the people of Boomtown. With Xfinity Mobile, the Wi-Fi is booming, at home and on the go.
And an upgrade storm's on the way.
That's right. And with Xfinity Mobile Premium Unlimited, you can upgrade your phone when you want, up to 2 times a year.
Now, once customers catch wind of the guaranteed new device discount, it'll be the biggest upgrade storm in history.
Wow. Let's hear from our weatherman on the scene.
How's it looking out there, Rick?
Well, Bill, the Wi-Fi is still booming!
Now through September 30th, existing Xfinity Internet customers can get an unlimited line included for a year. Plus, ask how to get a free 5G phone. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Unlimited line offer requires Xfinity 300 megabit internet or above. Taxes, fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds vary.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads. No. T-shirt cannon. I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost, so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So we had a huge new business pitch.
Attention, all hands on deck.
When, boom, our only printer was fried.
Up in smoke, like your chances of landing that account.
Well, I just sent the file to Staples. Devin, the print associate, was on it. She had it printed and bound same day.
So, where's the drama?
There wasn't any. Staples made it super easy.
Inconceivable. For the products, services, and experts you need, Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins! Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up. Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
With GMF financing to qualify buyers excludes Traverse and Corvette excludes prior sales. Have you heard? Nobody beats a Bennett Chevy deal, and I mean nobody. All this month, Bennett Chevy is selling new Chevys at the GM supplier employee price. Plus, you keep all the rebates, saving you as much as 20% on your new Chevy. That's right, you keep all the rebates and you pay the same GM supplier employee price we pay. That's up to 20% in savings. And you can save even more with available 0% financing. Thinking about buying pre-owned? Well, again, nobody beats Bennett Chevy. Just bring us any clunker you can and we'll give you a minimum $10,000 towards any pre-owned on our lot. Yes, I said a minimum 10 grand for your junk. Who else is going to make fantastic offers like Bennett Chevy? Nobody. That's who. Plus, you'll never experience any haggles or hassles or need to negotiate because our non-commissioned sales staff is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Together, let's drive. Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
All right, let's get to the final text here for the Power Hour, the final Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Again, thanks to Steven Ventnor, Shannon EHT, George and Galloway, Andrew in Summers Point. Thank you all for chiming in. Also, James over there in Northfield. And also, look who else chimed in. We got a Facebook message from Kevin Durso. Kevin Durso says, end of an era. I'll miss game night conversations leading into games, but excited to see and hear more of Josh on the weekends. I'm always around to jump on whenever you want a hockey guy on. Well, Kevin, I know you're more than just a hockey guy, so hopefully you'll be jumping on for more than just the hockey. Text me. We and I have talked about this. I'm just saying, Kevin Durso knows the other sports too. He ain't just some, guy who only watches hockey and nothing else. In a perfect world, Durso and I would be previewing the Stanley Cup Finals as well. We'd be maybe talking some Phillies. Alec Bohm just got a base hit. People don't realize Durso follows all the Philly teams. He ain't some pigeonholed kind of guy who doesn't watch anything else. I'll just leave it at that. So, yeah, this is it. Kevin Durso, yes, thank you for always coming on the show. Thanks to Andy McNamara. Dave Klemick, you'll be hearing more of him with me here on 97.3 ESPN. Thanks to him for everything and all of his support. Nick Earnshaw from Nick's Nuggets, he's always been. Brandon Scoopy Robinson, NBA Insider, has always been a part of the show. Rob Motti from the AP, always appreciate him and being a part of the show. So many more people to thank than just those guys. Dave Weinberg Wednesdays, every Wednesday for the last 5 years. But most of all, thanks to all of you, because this new show would not be happening if it wasn't for all of you out there who listen on 97.3 ESPN. Take care. I'll catch you coming up on Saturdays starting June 21st.
Saturday morning in the locker room with Billy.
All right, for the YouTube-only crowd. So I'm going to do a separate video, just kind of dig deeper into all this about what's going on, what we're doing. But I did just want to hit on a couple of points of reference here. Number one, so the new show starting June 21st, Hanging with Hennig. As I mentioned, this is an opportunity for me to highlight local businesses. And this is not being said to disparage anyone. But I know for a fact that there's a lot of great people out there who would love to support and be a part of different things. And they don't have the opportunity for a variety of reasons, mostly financial. And there's a lot of constraints that come with doing some of these projects. And so, for example, June 28th, we will be at the Make the World Better Foundation Pickleball Tournament in Seattle City. We're already starting to line up people who will be a part of that. And the new show is being supported by the community. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing this. I want to give a shout out to a couple of businesses. There are a couple of people who have already latched on. So I want to thank, first of all, my guy Dave Klemick. Klemick Performance Method is one of the biggest people who are supporting behind what I'm doing. Dave's a good friend, and KPM and him will be a part of this project moving forward. I'm very excited for what they have going on. They got some great things they're going to be announcing very soon with their business. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora. You may remember me being there in years past with Billy Schweim in the locker room. Well, now they're joining in. We're going to be partnering together for a lot of great stuff. So keep an eye on my social media. You'll be seeing a lot of those projects in the coming weeks. Also, my guy Nick over at Zia Nicola Pizza in Seattle City. Nick has, well, first of all, Nick has the best pizza in Seattle, okay? And he is supporting our work with the fundraiser at the Connor Barwin Make the World Better Foundation. He is going to be a part of things moving forward as well. So those are the first big three I want to thank off the top here, because they are the first big three to jump officially, pen to paper. So, and like I said, we'll be announcing more people in the coming weeks. I've had a lot of conversations. This is a process that actually, for those who don't know, goes back several months. This is not something I know we announced it today with Mike Gill on the radio on June 13th, but this is a process that has been going on. The genesis goes back to a conversation that happened basically back in January, if I'm being 100% realistic. So, and I think that, it's one of those deals where you don't always realize what's possible until you do something. You also don't realize who actually legitimately has got your back until you do something. And that's why, part of this show is also, there's there's the Italian in me that says, we support our people, we back our people. There's a lot of people over the years who have said to me, they believe and support me, and others who don't. I got a buddy of mine from high school, Josh Neiman. He has a photography business. You've probably been seeing some of the pictures that I've been putting up on social media, right? Or here on the YouTube channel at Josh Hennig. By the way, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Those pictures are from him. And he did it as a, basically a birthday gift for me for my 40th birthday. So I have a bunch of professional shots now because of a friend. Like, that's what I mean. It's people supporting each other. By the way, look up Josh Neiman Photography, JSN Photography. He's got incredible skills as a photographer, and I highly recommend him for whatever you got going on. Whether it's professional, whether it's wedding stuff, whether it's events, he's the man. And that's what I'm talking about. This is about how can I give back to the people who have given to me. And there's a lot of great people out there. There's a lot of great businesses in South Jersey, and we're gonna work with people to do stuff. So I look forward to that. If you're somebody who, I've already had a conversation with about this stuff, I appreciate you having the conversation with me. But we're not putting the cart before the horse. This is going to be a build, and I thank all of you for jumping on board with me, being a part of this. And I'm looking forward to the sky is the limit with this project. Well, let's put it that way. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity to share so much with you guys right here on my YouTube channel at Josh Hennig. And of course, make sure you follow me on Instagram, Joshua S. Hennig. Make sure you follow me on the Twitter X platform at Josh Hennig. Make sure that you are keeping it tuned, because over the coming days, there's going to be a lot more information and sharing of information about the new Saturday show. Again, we have signed off the Power Hour, the final time, on 97.3 ESPN. But Hanging with Hennig starts June 21st on 97.3 ESPN FM. It will still stream on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. And it's going to be right on my YouTube channel. And you're going to see some pretty exciting things that I can't divulge everything yet. There's some information out there that I'm not prepared to disclose, but I've disclosed what I can so far. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, sharing. I got people blowing up my phone right now. I totally get it. You all are out there. So thank you all for that. Thank you all for being a part of this. Take care. God bless. And you'll be seeing more from me right here on my YouTube channel in the coming days. And, of course, I still am on 97.3 ESPN. Sports Special Mike Gill is a producer, popping in with Billy Schwein in the locker room here and there. But the main property coming up, Saturday, June 21st, Hanging with Hennig. Tune in. I got some great announcements coming up. Take care, everyone, and we'll talk soon.